Wow. There are so many of you. And only one of me. You know, this thing is actually really convenient because before right now I had no idea what my hair looked like. Oh yeah, that's actually really, can you get, like, if it was from the front, but I guess I can, yeah, I think it looks okay. Before I forget, orchestra, fantastic job and fantastic selection. Kanye West actually samples Pomp and Circumstance in his first album, The College Dropout, and I think that was a flawless performance on your part. Thank you very much. I'd like to start with thank yous to my family, my mom, dad, and sister for being so influential in my life and putting me in a position to really be successful in whatever I choose to do. Thank you so much for that. To my extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents, thank you all for being here. And on that note, cousins, could you actually make sure that the grandparents are awake for this part of the ceremony? And I love the sign, by the way. That's crucial. Thank you. And while we're on families, I want to give a big thank you to all of those families who said they were coming here to see their son or daughter graduate, but actually just wanted to hear me speak. All of you should know that I will be signing autographs outside of the east entrance once the ceremony is over. I'm also not sure if that's east. Thank you to my friends and classmates for electing me to be your class speaker. Thank you, teachers and faculty, for working so hard day in and day out to provide such an amazing high school experience for all of us students. And lastly, thank you to the MIHS administration for trusting me enough to speak today. Big mistake. Excuse me. So this is kind of it for me, you know, in terms of my speaking career. This is really the climax because A, I will never speak in front of this many people again, and B, I will absolutely not ever speak somewhere as prestigious as the Key Arena again. This place is huge. The Oklahoma City Thunder used to play here. It's massive. Realistically, my speaking career is all downhill from here. And I was thinking before I got up here tonight, wow, this is a big deal for me, right? How can I personally take advantage of this? And so I decided to exemplify the ever-important traits of humility and selflessness and promote my own business. So moms in the crowd, this would be a great time to take out the little notepads you all have in your purses with the little ballpoint pen. I think it's like a mandatory thing of motherhood that you have those on you at all times. And if you don't have that with you, then that's fine. You can just take notes on your phone. But while you're taking notes on your phone, you should also be reevaluating your momness. The name of my business is Picketized Photo Digitization, and what I do is very straightforward. I take photo albums full of pictures that were taken before digital photography existed, and I digitize them, which is a glorified term for scanning them into a computer. Essentially, this creates digital copies of all those photos, which ensures their safety and allows you to share them easily with friends and family through email and social media. It's a pretty simple concept, and it was very simple to me until I realized that I actually had to sell it to people, and I couldn't do it. It was the worst thing in the world. It was so hard because I felt so guilty asking someone if they wanted to use the service, because if they said yes, I assumed that they were doing it out of pity because they felt bad for me, because they like my parents. My parents are awesome. I think pretty much anyone who's ever met them likes them. So how could they say no to their son, you know? And if they did say no, that also didn't feel very good either. So A very long, slow learning process ensued, which culminated in my realization that instead of feeling bad about selling, I should feel good about providing, right? It's a pretty simple concept, and I find it funny that it took me nearly a year to learn something that can be condensed so simply. But you know what they say, it's not about the journey, it's about the destination. Ticketize really interests me, in all honesty, not only because of its ability to improve lives, but also because of its sheer ability to exist, which is largely thanks to technology advancing so fast that something as obscure as the way photos are stored could be completely changed in one lifetime. Let's look at it this way. 3 major revolutions have occurred in the history of mankind, right? You have the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, and the revolution that we are all undeniably going through right now, the computer revolution. Okay, so the agricultural revolution occurred around 10,000 BC. Some 12,000 years before the industrial revolution, which we'll put right here. And so this is a 12,000 year gap between Revolution 1 and Revolution 2. And it's interesting because the time gap between the industrial revolution and the computer revolution is about 220 years. Okay, so 220 goes into 12,000 54 and a half times, which means that the time gap between the Industrial Revolution and the Computer Revolution is actually about 54 and a half times less than the time gap between the Agricultural Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. Are you all following my hands? So why is this? Why is this gap so much smaller? Well, perhaps the new devices and capabilities supplied to us through the Industrial Revolution enabled us to develop technologically at a much faster rate. Maybe 54 and a half times faster. Okay, so obviously our sample size is very big, but let's keep this trend going for a second. Let's say that by the time we are done with the computer revolution, we are moving yet again 54 and a half times faster than we were before it. If it took 220 years, that's a conservative estimate, but if it took 220 years for the last revolution to develop, then moving 54 and a half times faster than that, the math tells you that our next revolution should occur about 4 years after the computer revolution ends. And on a personal note, I would really like this to be robotics, because robots are awesome. Okay, has anybody seen the movie Bot Boy? It's actually called Bot Boy, My Bot Boy, but that title is really lame and hard to pronounce, so I just call it Bot Boy. And it's about a guy, he's getting old, and he lives alone, kind of a grandparent, you know, starting to lose it, and so he needs someone to come help him. And so his son brings him a robot. It's set in the distant future, and this robot can do all sorts of things, like talk and understand emotion, and act as a stay-at-home doctor, and make food and run errands. And the real kicker, in my opinion, is that this robot can do his own laundry for him. Okay? Do you understand how big of a deal that is? Do you have any idea how huge and inconvenient the pile of clothes in my room is right now? It is a monster. Perhaps it's unreasonable to say that a major revolution can occur 4 years after another one. But I guess it depends on how you look at it. I guess it depends on how you define revolution. The bottom line is that our world is changing faster than ever before, at a rate so rapid that we can't fully understand how quickly it's changing, nor can we understand fundamentally how it's going to change. But our actions, the work we do as a generation, will largely impact what that change manifests itself into. Okay, so let me tell you another little didactic story here. Gordon Moore, a founder of Intel and a father of the computer revolution, developed a concept that is now known as Moore's Law. Okay, and Moore's Law essentially states that the rate of the advancement of technology is doubling every 2 years. Let me break this down a little bit. Assuming you bought a phone 2 years ago today with a 2 megapixel camera, and you went in to get that phone upgraded tomorrow, you would probably notice that that phone now has a 4 megapixel camera, okay, twice as much as it had previously. And 2 years from now, if you go in to upgrade that phone, it will probably have an 8 megapixel camera. Okay, I messed that up. And 2 years from now, if you go in, it will probably have 8 megapixels, right? So today it has 4, 2 years from now it has 8. and 4 years from now, 16 megapixels, 6 years from now, 32, 8 years from now, 64 megapixels, and suddenly in just 10 years, you have a 128 megapixel camera on your phone. For reference, right now the highest megapixel camera available in the world has 100 megapixels, and it costs $35,000. Technology is making the world move faster. With technology advancing so quickly, one has to wonder the great philosophical question, what impact will this have on humans, right? Will the human mind be able to advance as quickly as the technology around it? Does Moore's law apply to thinking as well? Will our thinking be outdated every 2 years? When the Industrial Revolution happened, okay, it was a massive change for everyone who was a part of it. They experienced giant change in so many ways, and it completely changed the way they thought about so many things. You know, all of a sudden you have transportation completely radicalized. You go from walking and horses to trains, cars, automobiles. The people of the Industrial Revolution, whoever experienced that, their world blew up. It got so much bigger. Suddenly they could travel further, faster, and more comfortably than ever before. And that's just transportation, okay? Consumer culture came into existence. Before the Industrial Revolution, people made their own clothes in their own homes. The change was massive, giant change. Everybody experienced it, and then they died. Because no major revolution occurred for another 220 years. But if now that sort of giant change starts happening a couple times a decade, what are we going to do? Are we going to be able to keep up with it? Will we have to relearn everything that often? Will we be able to keep up with this change, or will it leave us in the dust? What impact does this change have on humans? And what should we do about it? I don't have an answer. But I do know that we have to do something, right? Change is scary, but with change comes an explosion of new possibilities. And it is up to us to grab hold of those possibilities and make them a reality. From this point forward, we are the creators. We are the architects of a world that before now has never existed, and before now has never had the capability to exist. So be a part of it. Go do something. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you just go out and do it. Except drugs. Don't do those. Officer Franklin will find you if you do, or even worse, Mrs. Ralph will find you. Seriously, it's no secret that good things come to those who wait, but the best things come to those who do. So congratulations, class of 2014, because you did it. Thank you.
All right.